Crossroads, and it is so great to be with you, albeit on a topic that is very somber and very, it seems fitting with the trajectory of Denver, Colorado, which like so many cities across the country, Denver is in decay. I am so pleased as we talk about the Patriot Muster shooting that happened this past Saturday, and we discuss what's happening across the country. I'm so pleased to be joined by my colleague at 710 KNUS, where I host the Jimmy Sengenberger Show in Denver, and also the writer and director of the film, the documentary, Denver in Decay, which you can see on YouTube. We'll talk more about that in a bit. Steffan Tubbs joins me here on Jimmy at the Crossroads. Brother, welcome to the show.
Hey, man, thank you.
Thanks for coming on. I appreciate you taking the time today. Let me just ask you, neither of us was at the Patriot Muster on Saturday, although you did some yeoman's coverage Saturday night on what happened in that, just what ended in absolute tragedy. But we have followed this very closely. We've learned a heck of a lot of information in the past few days. What's your overall sense for what happened on Saturday?
I think it was inevitable that there was going to be some kind of violence. There was going to be, well, you could say there was certainly going in a safety concern. Look, we all have safety concerns you don't even think about. When we get in our cars, for example, that's a potential safety concern. But with this and the activity that was so 180 from the Back the Blue rally on July 19th, where officers were among us, those of us that were down there, and did nothing because of orders on high. You know, these orders came down, and this was totally different from everything that I could gather. Denver police officers did everything that they could. It was at the egress, as the Denver police deputy division chief had said on Sunday, where there was some kind of argument. The biggest deal of all here is that there is, for all intents and purposes, an innocent victim dead. There was a scuffle. I say innocent in that I don't care if you slap someone. If my child slaps somebody, do I think that it's justified to get a bullet in the right through the eye, shot in the head? The answer is absolutely not. The reaction today, I can tell you, I was on a conference call watching the Denver mayor just within the last couple of hours. Not one mention of the fatal killing that was within a stone's throw of the mayor's office. No condolences offered to Lee Keltner's family. They can pretend this kind of stuff doesn't happen. They don't want to think about the Denver in decay, but the bottom line is the man on the left there is dead. He was shot in the head, and look at right there. You can see the shell casing. You can see the shell casing. This man has his can of bear spray or whatever it is in his hands. I mean, 3, 2, 1, he's dead. And the mayor of Denver did not even acknowledge it today.
I don't understand how he wouldn't, except for some sort of political reasoning. I mean, I hate to say it, but Steffan, this is something where you would expect the mayor of the city to, at the very least, express condolences for the loss of this
called it a tragedy. He called it a tragedy. Well, it was. Now, let's just do the old, and I do this on my show all the time. We do the old flip it game. If this were different, would the mayor of Denver, would he have I'm so angry, I shouldn't come across as sarcastic, but would flags be flown at half-staff kind of thing? And there was no acknowledgement of the fact that the family now, today, is planning a funeral for a United States Navy veteran. And no matter what he did not deserve to not take another breath after the seconds after the video that you played. I think it would be a little bit different if the situation were reversed. They did express this alleged shooter, who is remaining in court or in jail, I should say, had a very brief appearance over the weekend video-wise and then this morning. But they said, well, it was clear that he wasn't certified. So you've got so many things going down. And then we've got Matthew Doloff here. The question is, why in the hell is a local television station
Yes.
hiring someone like this with the connections with Antifa? This guy's about as much of a security guard as I am. I know my way around a firearm, Jimmy. I know you probably do as well. Nobody seems to know how or where. It is a bleep show at Channel 9 right now in Denver, KUSA. I guarantee it. And the lawyers have been writing all of the stories that we've seen since Saturday night.
Once again, Steffan Tubbs joining us here on Jimmy at the Crossroads, host of the Steffan Tubbs Show on 710 KNUS, where I host the Jimmy Sengenberger Show. He is weekdays afternoon drive, and also the producer, the writer and director of a documentary we'll get to in a moment called Denver and Decay. I want to put up a tweet because you mentioned 9 News, and I know you responded to this tweet. I did too. In fact, I have my weekly column for Colorado politics in the Denver Gazette is entitled 9 News Has Some Explaining to Do, and I addressed this tweet by Kyle Clark of 9 News, who is, for those who are not in Denver, he is a well-known guy. He has his show called Next with Kyle Clark that's on every weeknight. He's seen as a very credible person in Denver media, and he tweeted this out back on September 26th, not that long ago, Steffan, quote, "Shame to think there are people cowering in the suburbs, cleaning their guns, peeking through the blinds, wondering if every person of color outside is Antifa. If you're afraid to come into Denver because of talk radio fear-mongering, you're missing out on a lot." Now, Steffan, you and I are both in that group of Denver talk radio fear-mongering, according to Kyle Clark. And then lo and behold, a guy who we clearly know from a lot of online investigation is tied in with Antifa. This guy is working on behalf of 9 News at an event put on by a conservative group, a right-wing group, and he's working there unlicensed, providing security for 9 News. The irony here is stunning, Steffan Tubbs.
Am I allowed to curse on this show?
We can bleep it in the edit, Good question. I appreciate it. We could not include that in what we show to the Examiner, but
If this were satellite radio, I'd tell you what I really thought. Look, that specific tweet by Kyle Clark was directed at you and me and Peter Boyles and our radio station, 710 KNUS. I think the kids would say, don't they, that didn't age well?
No, I say that this kid says that in my column, to be sure.
There you go. Yeah. But you know what, Jimmy? The fact of the matter is the hypocrisy in 2020 in Denver, Colorado, in politics, in our local media, it is just beyond my comprehension. It really is. You've got someone here from that tweet alone, that a guy that I've met one time, that he's been on my show. I thought, for a while, he's got this different style. He's a little bit different, but then he gets this cult-like following, and when that happens, it goes to your head, and all you need to do is scroll back any of the previous TV shows he does or whatever. The guy thinks he's a TV god. And this, God rest Lee Keltner's soul.
Amen.
But right now, I'm going to tell you what 9 News, KUSA television in Denver is going through. They are finding out they're reaping what they sow. And it is quite evident to me. Again, if it were satellite radio, I'd tell you what I really think.
The thing is that when it comes to media across the country, this disingenuousness and this self-righteousness and this self-importance is like, pardon the use of the term in 2020, but it is like an epidemic, because it keeps infiltrating so many people in a way where it's no wonder that there is a distrust, Steffan, in the media today across the country, and right here in Denver, Colorado, where we're broadcasting from.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you brought that up, because there is a difference in what you do, what you're doing right now, what you do on the radio, what I do I've been a newsman for 28 of my 31 years, but you know what? I make no bones about it. I let my listeners know where I stand, what my opinion is. It's talk radio. These jokers over there want you to think this is a buttoned up newscast.
Mm-hmm.
I am certainly down the middle. That is absolute. Why do you think Antifa thugs, criminals, opportunists, idiots, hoodlums, why do you think they're putting out on social media that we got this guy's back or he's one of us or whatever? And the hypocrisy is, if you hate Donald Trump, if you hate Republicans, if you hate what we stand for, you hate conservative values, at least let your viewers know where you stand. Instead, as you know, Jimmy, especially with this joker, he's going to look you right in the camera. Hair's going to be perfect, nice sport coat, and he's going to act like he has no skin in the game. And I personally have had enough of it. It's enough. And that hypocrisy will be exposed, well, later on today and every day that I continue to do my show.
Yeah, no, it is abundantly apparent. That's why when I was considering yesterday, what was the angle? I knew I wanted to write about the Patriot Muster for my weekly column. And I was considering what is the angle, and I thought, well, it's got to be the media. It's got to be 9 News. It's got to be Kyle Clark, because that is exactly what we're seeing across the country. And it's a microcosm here in Denver, which brings me to the broader, bigger picture, which is what we saw on Saturday with what clearly seems to me to be murder of Lee Keltner by Matthew Doloff. I mean, you watch the video footage that's available, you look at the pictures, it's murder. And it was by gunshot and by a guy, again, unlicensed security, brought in as security by 9 News, major local NBC News affiliate. But this kind of chaos is not just something we're seeing in Denver, but it's all across the country. And I think a lot of people are shocked to learn that this is something that is increasingly happening in a place like Denver, Colorado, helping to demonstrate that no part of this country really is immune, Steffan Tubbs.
No. And they will tell you here, Jimmy, last week, the city of Denver, we think, it's just my opinion, in response to our documentary film Denver and Decay, comes out with a 60-second feel-good Chamber of Commerce feel. We're all in this together, and by God, this city's going to rise up. Really? Well, you young whippersnappers, you say, that didn't age well. How well did that 60-second video age up until about 3:37 p.m. Mountain Time on Saturday, and then in the couple of days now since? They are kidding themselves, and it's seemingly that they don't care. They've got these blinders on and this tunnel vision of, we're not going to look to our left or right, or we'll keep our head down and not look straight ahead when it comes to, let's not talk about the problems. Or if there is a problem that's identified, well, we're looking into that, and, it's a pandemic. Everybody's like this. There is no ownership of seemingly anything in the city and county of Denver. Don't even get me started at the state level, but just in the city and county of Denver, cases that could be prosecuted by some very well-known, at least one well-known idiot school board member. That case has been sitting on a desk allegedly for assaulting and injuring a Denver police officer. Denver school board member Tay Anderson, I have source after source that he's suspect number 1. That case is on the district attorney's desk right now. It's been there for more than 2 months. And basically we got confirmation last week they're not going to prosecute because they have the obligation to know that they must be convinced they could get a jury to return a guilty verdict, or they can't pursue it. Jimmy, it's like anything. I've been here parts of 4 decades. I have never seen this kind of behavior from elected officials in my life, in my career in Denver. It's sickening.
It is indeed. And it is something that is all too common, it seems, across the country, and not just in the city of Denver. Like some of the conduct that we see in Aurora. I mean, I'm an Aurora resident. Aurora also has a series of problems, and the amount of criminal activity that has been going up in the Denver metro area, like city after city after city across the country, is stunning. As you know, I'm the victim of 2 car thefts of the exact same car in a span of 9 weeks. And it's absolutely stunning when you think about that kind of activity that is happening. And so it's no wonder when a tragic murder, horrifying event like what we saw on Saturday happens in Denver. It's no wonder, I'm sorry to say it, but it's no wonder that it is happening right now because of the hands-off approach all too often from police, because of those in authority. We remember the pro-police rally, Colorado. We talked about it a lot here on Jimmy at the Crossroads back in July. The police were told to stand down and even to leave, and it was because of one lieutenant on the line who said, no, we're not going to leave, breaking ranks, at least providing some sort of support. What
did he say? What did he say? He said, if we leave, they're going to get killed.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And that probably would have happened. And thank God for the lieutenant for saying that and for standing his ground and saying, no, we shouldn't do this. But it shows that the politicized leadership of police departments across the country and that local mayors and city councils are undermining public safety everywhere. And that is, I don't even have words for that I could say here.
Brother, you know who is the biggest enemy of the Aurora Police Department? The Aurora City Council. Mm-hmm. How is that possible?
There are 3.
How is that possible?
3 self-described socialists on the Aurora City Council who are involved with these radical groups that participate in these kinds of activities.
You know what I don't like also, brother, is that you and I have mentioned his name, but we are going to see the overall in total. We're going to see the name Lee Keltner. We're going to see that name just be forgotten. And I know that guys like you and me and our listeners and your viewers and so forth, we're going to try. But where is the television pieces, the obituary pieces? Lee Keltner was a hat maker, a United States Navy veteran. And I'm going to play his obituary today. But where are the other TV stations and come in and doing that? Apparently some have said, well, he wasn't perfect. He has a criminal background or whatever. Show me the relevance to him getting shot in the head.
Yeah. Over me.
And if we don't talk about him, who will?
Look, here's the basic line of events for the murder that happened on Saturday. And I know we got to wrap up because you got show prep to do, Steffan Tubbs. But as I summarized it in my column for Colorado Politics and Denver Gazette, 2 local outlets here in Denver, I say, based on available information, it appears that Keltner got into a verbal altercation with another individual, this guy we talked about earlier with Black Guns Matter shirt on, and then proceeded to walk away from that individual in Dolof's relative direction. Dolof reached for a mace can at Keltner's side, it seems to be. With his left hand, Keltner slapped Dolof's face to push him away. Keltner stepped back, pulled out his mace, and Dolof drew his firearm. Almost simultaneously, Keltner projected the spray, and Dolof opened fire. Shot directly in the head, Lee Keltner fell backwards and was pronounced dead shortly thereafter. There is nothing in this story or the footage that precede that can remotely justify firing a firearm at somebody and killing him.
No. Not from a 30-year-old with ties to Antifa. F the cops. You should, and I know you probably have. The background of Dolof is something to look at to see what he's promoting. Mm-hmm. And then the big question, I want to come back to where we started, is you ask yourself, what connection, why would a once proud, dominant news leader in Colorado, why would this station hire this young man to be security? Here's what I think. He was their inside gig. Mm-hmm. He was their inside. They wanted that door in front of them unlocked. He is the key. Yeah. And he got them in there for whatever. Look, let's not forget, I know TV pretty well. You do. Next month, November sweeps. What kind of maybe back behind the scenes stories were they trying to get footage on? 9 News infiltrates the other side. Give me a break. There's a man dead. Well, and this goes back to Denver in decay.
Yes.
Denver in decay, brother. And I'm telling you, if you haven't seen this film, you want to get a history of kind of where we are up to, say, this past Saturday morning. It has nothing to do with the shooting, obviously. But if you want to know the history of what has happened in this city, both with the homeless crisis and what has been allowed and tolerated, our leaders, some of them are absolutely culpable. And we expose that in the documentary film.
Yeah, very well, very well. And we're going to show the trailer here in just a moment. But I do want to add this, that earlier we had John Teagan, the rally, or rather Patriot Muster organizer, as well as Bazo Baz, ex-CIA officer who was there on Saturday. And both of them are saying some incriminating things about 9 News as far as potential 9 News involvement in setting up the this so-called soup drive that Antifa was putting on. And they seem to be concerned that 9 News maybe there were people in 9 News who knew something was going on or something. I don't know. We'll see. But the bottom line is, regardless, that the very idea that the #1 local TV news station in a major market like Denver would have a guy there for security is, and then he would end up being the one to kill another man who was a participant and attendee in this event, is just absolutely shocking. But then you add on 2 other elements to this. One, that the guy was unlicensed to be a security guard. Number 2, and we can throw that Kyle Clark tweet back up. This is Kyle Clark saying, oh, you shouldn't worry about Denver. It's perfectly safe. And then what happens? Somebody is killed in Denver because 9 News for months had been having security guys go with them to protests and rallies for months, even around September 26th, when Kyle Clark from 9 News put out that tweet. Steffan Tubbs.
I wonder, and I've wondered this for a while, how many, look, when we're on radio, for the most part, of late, I've got my own kind of detail, if you will, or somebody watching my back. But I spent almost 3 decades as a radio guy. We go alone. We go alone. When's the last time the certain television anchor had done that? He's telling you how great it is. Yeah, if he's going to be with them, if he's not going to be upset, if he's eating outside, dining at Larimer Square, and a group comes by and he doesn't mind if his wife or his child or whatever, if they're verbally assaulted by people that won't raise their fist. Again, hypocrisy is the name that I will the word that I will consistently connect with the year 2020.
Yeah.
It's not only politicians, sadly, my friend, it is members of the media, and those members of the media who are the most hypocritical are the ones that are going to look you in the eye via your television. They'll look into the camera and they'll, as the Don Henley song says, they'll tell you about the plane crash with a gleam in their eye. With Kyle Clark, there's no problem here. It's all of you crazy right-wing wackos that just simply somehow don't understand.
It is so sad when something like what happened on Saturday takes place to prove that our concerns about what's happening in a place like Denver are justified. And to that point, I want to show, since you're here, writer and director of Denver in Decay, Steffan Tubbs, I want to show the trailer for this must-watch documentary. No matter where you are across the country, you absolutely want to see what's going on in Denver, Colorado. And I'm going to show this, get some final thoughts from you, Steffan Tubbs.
When do we as a society decide it's not okay for the rights of some people to supersede the rights of other people?
You hear me? Can you please not videotape over here?
Denver has been in decay for a long time.
For us, it's a bunch of I told you so.
It is a city facing a significant set of challenges.
It's heartbreaking. I've lived here for 50 years. I haven't wanted to come down because I was afraid of what I could see.
I always felt safe here from the very beginning. since '98. I don't feel safe anymore, and that's sad. I wouldn't bring anyone down here for anything.
My frustration is I think this is what we achieve, or what we receive, when there's one-party control of all three branches of government at multiple levels.
So we're losing ground in this city, and it's unfortunate, and frankly, it's personally frustrating, because many of the issues we're dealing with, except for the pandemic, were foreseeable.
I don't buy that there's excuses for these people to fail.
They drive by maybe, or they see the boards, and it says closed, and it says danger.
Garbage everywhere, human waste, needles, a blasé attitude from those that were living in that environment.
What kind of message is it sending from the state to law-abiding citizens that this seemingly is tolerated by you and state government?
If we don't address the challenges of everybody in this community, we will continue to see decay.
I love America, land of the free.
All right, Steffan Tubbs, where can folks go to watch it, and your closing thoughts today, sir? Thank you.
Thank you, Jimmy. YouTube, it's available for free. I would encourage you to watch it.
It's very well
it.
done. Excellent job, by the way.
Thank you. I mean, it was done in 60 days. 60 days from idea to our premiere. And look, we're not hoping that somebody gets fired, they resign. None of that. You're going to make your own conclusion as a viewer as to what is the reasoning behind where we are today. You can either do something about it, you can share it, or you can say it was terrible and you would never recommend it to anyone. But the fact of the matter is, we know that the city has basically been in defensive mode since this project was announced, because they know, I'll tell you, let me just leave you with this. Not one in nearly 92,000 views, in hundreds and hundreds of emails and texts and social media. People have certainly been critical of it. They've sent their hate-filled email. Not one questioning whether or not it was accurate. We have everything documented. There's a source page if you want to know where we got our numbers and our stats. And this film sadly needed to be made at this time, and I'm certainly appreciative of you helping us out with spreading the word. And I hope there's a sequel, Jimmy. I hope there's a sequel of Denver's not in decay anymore.
Yeah.
But I think that'll be a few years before that can be made.
Denver renewal,
it's on
perhaps.
YouTube. If I didn't answer your question directly, it's on YouTube right now. Just type in Denver in decay in the search bar.
And you know what? I'll go ahead and add a link down in the description to the documentary so folks can watch it as well, to be sure. Well, excellent job with that. And I think everybody across the country who's curious, I mean, there's something about Colorado that has always been intriguing people in recent years. You and I living here know and understand why that is the case, but this helps others to understand what's even happening now in Colorado, because no part of this country, I'm sad to say, no part of this country is immune from what's going on in our cities and metro areas.
The film ends with, it's not just here, but watch out, because it could very well come to the suburbs near you, no matter where you live in this great country. Thank you, my brother. I appreciate it. And I greatly appreciate the time and highlighting not only the weekend, God rest his soul, Lee Keltner, and we'll have more coming up on my show this afternoon.
All right, Steffan Tubbs, thanks for joining us, my colleague and friend. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Once again, Steffan Tubbs joining us here on Jimmy at the Crossroads, coming to you in partnership with the Washington Examiner. I want to tell you real quickly about my friends at Inspired Gift Shop. Folks, Christmas is less than 3 months, coming up really soon here. Thanksgiving less than 2. This year, with the uncertainty of social distancing with holiday shopping, why not start your shopping early with our friends at InspiredGiftShop.com and save 20% with the promo code Jimmy at checkout. Inspired Gift Shop will help you create memories for every person on your holiday list. That's promo code Jimmy for 20% off at checkout at InspiredGiftShop.com. Check it out. Thanks for watching this clip of Jimmy at the Crossroads. Don't miss more engaging, intelligent talk. Subscribe today to the Jimmy at the Crossroads YouTube channel. You do not want to miss our live show. Thanks for your support.
I got Jimmy at the crossroads, making sense out of no sense. Yeah.